Now we're going to add some validations to the test. Validations in the sense, let's say we clicked on the bank manager login button, and we need to make sure that it is actually clicked, right? So let's say if I go back to the website, let's say I copy the URL from here, and if I click on bank manager login button, so I should be able to see this add customer button, right? Any of these buttons. If any of these buttons shows up, if I'm able to check the presence of these elements on the page, it means that I am successfully logged in, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'll just take the locator of this add customer button. I'll inspect this element, and I got the button, like if I create a CSS for this button, so I'll say double dollar, and it should be button ng click equal to add cust, right? It's button ng click equal to add cust. It should be like this, right? So this is the CSS of the add customer button. I'll go back over here, and in my OR properties, I'm gonna add. Let's say I name this as an add customer test. So we can comment in our properties file by adding a hash. So we'll say add customer test, right? So in this, I'm gonna write add customer button equal to this. So this will be the CSS of add customer test, right? And here I'll say this was a bank manager login test. Right, so this is how, based on different tests, we can add locators and we can keep on commenting them based on our test name, right? So add customer test, I need to check the presence of this element, like in the login as bank manager test itself, because after we click on login as bank manager, like bank manager login button, it should actually show the presence of, should actually validate the presence of this add customer button, right? So in order to validate things in in your test cases in testng specifically, there is an assert class that is present. So I'm going to call one of the method from assert that says assert dot assert true. The method should be assert true. So assert true. Now assert true, it actually accepts a Boolean condition. If a condition is true, then your test cases pass. Otherwise, the test cases fail. Right. You generally get the definition when you mouse over onto this method. Right now, we are not seeing any definition. If I mouse over to find element, see it is showing definition over here. Right. At times, what happens if you add your testng library manually through a plugin, it may not show you a definition. Right. So I'll go to build path and remove it. So testng can be added through a pom.xml file as well, right? So you can add dependency of testng over here. Like I think I have not added testng dependency. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add the testng dependency. We can get it from MVN repository, and I'll say testng. Right. So let me copy this dependency and I'll paste it over here. Right. So once I do this, if I mouse over onto this, see still it is not showing anything over here. Let me comment this out. We're getting some errors over. Okay, the error was due to this assertion. So why we are not able to still see the documentation, the definition of this method over here. At the time when you import dependencies through Maven, it actually gets the documentation as well. So if in case if you're not able to see any documentation, then just right click on your project, go to build path, go to configure build path, and under Maven dependency, wherever you see testng dependency, you go to Java document location and click on edit. Right now, we'll go to testng org website, And here we'll go to the Java document part. So this is the Java document of test.ng. Now instead of index.html, I'll copy the rest of the part and I'll just gonna paste it over here and click on OK. So this is not just with test.ng, with any other library that you're using. If you're not able to see the Java document definition of those methods, see, now it shows the definition. So assert true means that assert that a condition is true. If it isn't, and then the assertion error is thrown, right? So it means if the condition is not true, if you get some boolean value false over here, then your test case will be failed with an assertion error thrown, right? So what condition we can give over here? The condition should be the presence of element, right? If the element is present, the test case should pass. Otherwise, the test case should fail. So I need to create a method, something like is element present, because we know that in a WebDriver we don't have any such method is element present. So we actually need to create it, right? So I'll be creating this method inside my base class itself. So how are we going to create this method? I'll go to my base class. Since base is extended in all our test cases, right? So whatever methods you're gonna create over here will automatically you'll be able to access all those methods in your child classes, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'll create a method that says public boolean is element present, right? And I'm gonna pass an argument as a by class over here. Right. So what we can do over here, we can keep this thing in a try catch block, try catch, and it should actually throw an exception when the element is not found. As in, I'm gonna write over here, it should say driver dot find element, and I'm gonna accept the same by argument over here. Right. By we're gonna import it from Selenium. Right now, if this line gets executed, if an element is found, it should return true. Otherwise, it should return false. So if an element is not found, it should actually throw no such element exception, exception E, right? And this we should actually get it from org openqa selenium, right? It should return false if an element is not found, right? Now this method we can use it over here by saying by dot css, and css of the element we're gonna get it from or dot get property. So we'll say or dot get property, and the element that we have created is add customer button. So if I give add customer button over here, and this will actually going to validate the presence of element. So let's see 1 2 3 1 2 3, and if the element is not present, if it is not present, then it should actually add this message to the report, that is login not successful, right? So these sort of validations we can actually do. So now if I run this test again, if I right click on the test.ng XML file, and if I run this test again, just 1 second, run as test.ng suite. Let's go over here. Okay, we got some exception. Let's see. There is a configuration failure. Failure says WebDriver exception cannot get automation extension. Okay, this is the latest update from Chrome. Basically, the Chrome we all know that the Chrome browser gets updated automatically, right? We need not to download the latest Chrome browser like we do in the case of Firefox and IE. The Chrome gets updated automatically. So whenever there is an update in Chrome, you need to update your Chrome driver executable file as well. So you'll go to download and you'll find that over here the current version of the Chrome driver is 2.29. So based on your Windows, Mac or Linux machines, you can download this zip file. Right, I've already downloaded the latest one. This is the latest one. So I'm gonna take it from here. This is the Chrome driver exe latest one. And I'll go to my project where I have kept the executables. I'll just delete this Chrome driver. See, at times you'll not be able to delete it because you are in a session. This is already, you're going to see the file already in a task manager. See, Chrome driver 32-bit. So end this and click on end task, and then you can try deleting it again. And now you should be able to delete it. So I'll right click and paste this now, and let us once more run this test to make sure it works fine. So I'll right click and run it. So it is executing with the latest. See, this is a new change. Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. Okay. So did it click? I think yes. Yes, it did click. Right. So the test case is pass. Although the execution was very fast. So we can anytime check whether, I mean, it's actually clicking on it. What I'll do, I'll just incorrect the CSS that I've mentioned over here, right? Probably there seems to be some issues. The CSS that I've actually provided over here is not correct, right? I missed to add this bracket over here. So it should actually throw a failure. Let me check why it actually executed successfully. It didn't click on the button, I guess. Right, so is element present? It returns true and it returns false when the element is not there. So if I give incorrect path over here, I'll say add cust1 and I'll run this again. Now it should actually going to throw assertion error. Oh, this is really strange. It's actually clicking on it, right? It actually clicked on no, it clicked on the bank manager login button. I got confused, but it didn't click. It didn't find that particular element. See, we must have got an assertion error. Say login not successful because we have given an incorrect CSS over here for the add customer button, which this code is actually not able to identify is element present method, right? So it returned false. So if I don't give this thing, if I give the correct CSS and if I run this again, now it should actually gonna pass the test. So let's see. Still there is a failure. Login not successful. It seems, oh, okay. I missed to add this column over here, right? A single comma. So I'll again run it. So I think when we were copying the CSS was not copied correctly. Yeah, now it got executed successfully. Right, so whenever there's a successful execution, you can anytime validate in your reports. So reports are automatically generated inside your test output folder if you're running it through TestNG, right? So far we are doing execution with TestNG, we are not running it through Maven. So we can check the emailable report that is generated over here. If I paste this thing over here, it says login test successfully executed. So this is one form of assertion that we have seen over here. In order to validate your test results, you need to add assertions, right? Assertions will make sure that if there is any failure, if an element is not found, or if a condition is not satisfied, then there is an assertion error that is thrown, right? And this is how we have created is element present method, just to make sure the element is present on the page, right? And you can use by.css, by.xpath, whichever locator that you want to use on your own convenience, right?